Alright, what's going on, Gravinder, Ginger, Ricky, Oscar, what's going on, boys? Crazy day. I told you guys yesterday we needed to take out last Friday's highs to get anywhere. It was super bearish action. I mean, we closed near lows of day. We should have taken out these 4 days. When we broke the high, we should have had a lot more momentum in the bulls' favor, which did not happen. Intraday, obviously, we closed right near the low of the day. Little tiny bounce at the end of the day, probably some puts covering, protecting themselves. But the market changed in a hurry today, guys. We opened near highs here. We opened at high of day and we closed near low of day. So that's definitely not bullish action. What's up, G Money? How you doing, Papa Ganesh? Definitely not bullish action at all. Right off the bat, complete dump. Like there was no stopping this thing. We went straight from the open at 440.39 all the way down to 434. So we almost lost like 6 points plus right in a straight line waterfall. We had a bounce, we put in a lower high, and then we put in a lower low. Or did we put in a lower low? Looks like we had a little double bottom intraday here. Probably the reason for the bounce at the end of the day. Some puts covered into close as usual, protecting themselves. But overall, I mean, this chart is a mess right now. So I told you guys yesterday very clearly we needed to take out Friday's high for any kind of momentum. We did take it out, but straight down after that. Bears stepped on the gas. Bulls didn't have anything to give them, and we went straight down. So right now, if I was to guess, we're still in this little chop range here. The range is still between 427.86 to 437.84. So it's like a 10-point range on SPY, which is insane for an index. If you guys have been trading for a while, you know 10-point moves on SPY are not a small thing. Other than that, I mean, there's not really too much out there to get bullish about. What's up, Darsh? How you doing? And we have to see tomorrow's action. Tomorrow's action is going to be very critical. Why? Because these weekly candles will be shaped tomorrow. Do they paint the candle red? Because right now we're just kind of in no man's land. Look at the top. We hit the 50-day moving average from underneath, which will now act as resistance since we broke underneath it 2 weeks ago. What's up, MT? Now the 50-day is acting as resistance. So if we do not get through 440 tomorrow, I think a lot more downside next week. Why am I saying that? Because this 50-day is going to act as big resistance now on top. 200-day is way down here with the week. Let's go in QQQ. Much of the same story. Again, guys, we had some strength yesterday. The Bulls just fumbled the ball. I mean, the Bulls had everything in their favor. We went over the vol trigger this morning on QQQ. That lasted a total of 9 minutes. After 9 minutes, we lost the vol trigger to the downside, which means volatility, which means straight waterfall. Little lower high set and then closed at the low of the day. Absolute terrible closes on the daily all over the indexes. Overall, just weak days. It's basically one green day, one red day, one green day, one red day so far this week. So how do we do it tomorrow? Maybe do we get a green day to close out the perfect pattern or not? The volatility trigger is 350 on QQQ. If we close above that, then we can have some upside in tech next week. As long as we stay below 350, I think there's more downside next week as well. XLF was strong off the bat. We sold the Goldman, so we hit Goldman Sachs calls for 100% overnight. I think very few people hit bank calls actually. And we rotated right back into JPM puts right about here. Complete dump. We had big gains on them. I didn't sell any. The market looked like trash to me. I thought we were going to go even lower. We did hold up a little bit better. I thought we were just going to downtrend all day, but we did have a long lower high bounce. But overall, again, XLF, we're near the bottom. The bottom's at 36.82 and we're much closer to 36.82 than we are to all-time highs. So a lot more volatility coming in the market in my opinion. IWM, I gave you one level. We need to close above 206.50. Never even got close. We got to 205 today. So the range between 205 or 202 and 206.50 is what we're stuck in right now. Today we close underneath 202, so we can even make a move back down to 190. Market does not look good. Oh, Vlad, you're not supposed to look at my bed, bro. Alright, and then VIX. VIX kind of tricked us as well. Off the open, big spike, and then complete crushing of VIX. What's up, Carlos? How you doing? I got you 1 second. We got the daily chart on VIX. We have this little support coming here. We did come test it today. Closed as a doji today, and we closed green, which is not good for the VIX. It looks like we're just steadily climbing on VIX, guys. It doesn't look like any of these issues are going to be fixed soon with the war, with the Fed, with the interest rates, with inflation. recession, and March 10th is inflation numbers, guys, and then 15, 16 is the Fed meeting. There's a lot more volatility to come. And let's see if VIX goes and makes a run at these previous highs of 39 again. ES, I mean, we already went over SPY, no point. Apple, I did add to my puts. We had 155 puts, I believe, on March 1st. We took 155 puts for March 18th. We rode those from, I believe, if I remember correctly, like 160 to 230 or something. And I sold most of them. I kept a couple runners just because we have so much time. Today they were trading on 125. I seen at the end of the day Apple was super weak. And you guys see that white line? We're right back at this line again. This is a wedge that's drawn out all the way from August or September of 2020. And right now we're just banging our head right at the top of it, the resistance again, and it looked like it rejected again. So last time we played it was here actually, on February 22nd, I believe. We got our pullback, we made big gains. I left a few runners. They were a little bit red today. I mean, my average was 160, I believe, and they were trading for 127. So I added a few more today. G-Money, stop this. And rejected the resistance again, so I added to it again. Very weak close by Apple, as you guys see. Opened at the high of the day, closed at the low of the day. That's typical bear market action. It's very bearish candle, and almost looks like a bearish engulfing, I think. No, we need a lot more down, but today, let's see tomorrow if we get another down move. I'm looking for support around 163 on Apple, so another $3 down. JPM, those puts were beautiful in the morning. They looked like they were going to be 100% right today. That's why I didn't sell any, or else I usually would have taken some profit. But this chart's just ugly, guys. Like, all we did was we dumped off ugly earnings. Very ugly earnings on JPM. We're back here, actually. And then since then, we've just been kind of chopping around. We bounced, set a lower high, then a lower low, and now we're kind of just bear flagging here. So if JPM takes out this right here, I think we go and test those lows of the March 1st again. And if we test those lows, those 135 puts will probably be like 300, 400%. And we have another week on them. So I'm fine holding these puts. All the action to me suggests is bearish. Again, you can look at the hourly. You can look at the half hour. What's happening here is pretty, let's see, 30 minutes. I have to show you intraday because this after hours volume is kind of tricky. But if you guys ignore this candle right here, after hours one, the half hour chart kind of tells a story. Like, big dump right off the open. We got a bounce, but look how low this volume is compared to how big the bear volume is, right? Finally, climax buying here. Buyers ran out of steam, and then just low volume chop all day. And the last half hour candle is what interests me. Huge bear volume, red candle, and let's see if we can break down here. In the coming days, I do expect more weakness from banks. I mean, we're not just going to V-shape back up to highs, especially on banks. It's going to take a long time. Let's see what happens with JPM tomorrow. CLF is the only put that I am kind of scared of. The only reason being these oil or I don't know, I'm not sure if they are an oil company, but obviously they're related to materials or oil or something because they're flying. And look at this, just parabolic. It's always tough to short these parabolic stocks. The reason being is you don't know where they're going to end. People can just keep jumping into them. People can keep piling into them. That's why I took April. I took so much time on my puts. And the puts don't lose too much premium, surprisingly, even though the stock ran up a lot today. We're only down like 10 cents on them, I believe. And one thing I've noted from my trading, at least, whenever you have a daily candle fully close outside the Bollinger Bands, a pullback is coming. It might not come the same day, it might not come the next day, but it's coming. That's why I have till April. And when the pullback comes, it's probably not just going to dip into the Bollinger Bands and keep going. It's probably going to go down to the middle Bollinger Band. Just like you guys see over here, we tried to escape it, and look at the pullback we got. Tried to escape the Bollinger Band, look at the pullback we got. Again, right here, we got a pullback right to that 13 EMA, that red line right there. So at the very least, I think there'll be at least 4 or 5 days of consolidation when this run is over. I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying I'm going to win on these puts. But this is the only one. That's the only reason. It's completely technical, nothing to do with anything else. And we'll see how that one works out. We do have till April, so I'm not too worried. Microsoft, we actually hit these calls. It's amazing that we hit calls green in the morning and then we flip to puts and we hit those two. It's very rare. Other than that, I mean, Microsoft looked pretty nasty, just like everything else. We tried to break out this morning on Microsoft. My reasoning behind the Microsoft calls yesterday, I gave it to you. The daily MACD flipped bullish. The stochastics we're going up, and the 4 hour bull cross happened yesterday, so it was bullish going into today, but obviously complete rejection. We got this little down channel going here, and it didn't want to hold above, so we just went right back down. We were trading from 303 to 294, which is a $8 range, $9 range on Microsoft, which is a huge range. Obviously a lot of volatility lately, but if you look at the volume, I do not like how much bear volume came in today. Like on a $9 drop, there should be a lot more volume. So let's see tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow this market is insane. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get a gap up tomorrow. What's up, G Money? Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we get a gap up tomorrow, because overall the volume across the board is very light today. And this market's just full of, not CLF. CLF is crazy volume every single day. JPM, you can see reduced volume as well. Apple, less volume than yesterday. So tomorrow, don't be surprised by a gap up. Don't be surprised by a rip. Other than that, I'm still bearish. Long term is still bearish trends. Like, look at this AXP. Who's bullish on this? Of course we can bounce, but are we going to bounce straight back to this 195 level? I highly doubt it. We're probably going to go put in a higher low and then roll over again. Right now we're just finding a little bit of buyers at the 50-day moving average. Other than that, let's go over a couple of these charts here. We'll go Amazon first. Amazon was an amazing call out by Bucky. He was watching it all day. I think he caught puts right here, and they just doubled within minutes. And overall on the daily chart here, we do have this little resistance. Same thing as Microsoft, guys. We had this downward resistance here. We broke out, but they didn't like the price up there. So as soon as we got up there, complete reversal, huge down day, down 83 points today. Amazing. And it just doesn't look like anything's ready for a bullish swing trade yet. Other than that, I do see it coming back down to this 28.85. After 28.85, we got this low over here of 27.90. But other than that, everything looks bullish about it. Even increased bear volume today compared to the last 3-4 days. And hourly, half hour, I know Bookie already went over it. This guy loves these charts. I agree with him. They're great. And you can see right off pre-market, complete dump. First hour of the day, complete dump. And then when they tried to pop it, there was not enough volume here. This candle was a suck, like to suck people in. This hourly candle right here just sucked people in just for chop for an hour so they could chop their premiums. And then this was the real move. The one that Bucky caught was this one right here with increased bear volume. So other than that, I mean, everything looks great for Amazon puts. I don't see how this one can just bounce and go back and break resistance for now. It's going to take a while. And other than that, very bearish. I love the call out, and I hope you get paid a lot, Bucky. Amazon XLE. So energy is kind of the same thing as it's just in favor. People are just buying it right now. It's always hard to pick a top on these kinds of stocks. They can just keep going and going and going. Obviously, one day they're going to have to go down, but the problem with that is timing when they come down. You want to see a daily shooting star candle or a daily topping candle, or even better, a weekly topping candle. This weekly does not look weak to me. This looks like a weekly bull flag breakout, and there's more volume than last week, even though we still have a full day to trade. So XLE is a very tough short here as well. Just like CLF, it's a very tricky short. If you're long it right now, I mean, there's resistance up here. I'd be scared around 78 if you're long. But until then, it's continued strength, continued buying volume. All that escalation in Russia and stuff is going to help energy for sure. And you have to wait for a weekly or a daily candle that shows you reversal before jumping in parabolic. Obviously, let's see if it's outside the Bollinger Bands as well. So yesterday it was completely suspended outside the Bollinger Bands. But today the Bollinger Bands expanded and now we're back inside them. So this is the same thing as CLF. It's technically a short, but with all the drama going on in Russia and the oil crisis and the energy flying, it's tough right now. Technically it's a short, but again, you can never tell when parabolics, how far something can go parabolic. The MACD on the daily just crossed as well. So that adds momentum to the bulls too in XLE. Other than that, it's very hard to time the top, guys. We got Tesla, complete breakdown today. Down 40 points. Wow. Okay, so Tesla was notably weak right off the bat, guys. Everything was bouncing. Remember that QQQ SPY? We bounced to like here almost on QQQ and SPY. We regained about 50% of that move, and then we dumped further. But Tesla didn't even bounce that much. Tesla bounced maybe 10 points, went sideways all afternoon, and then finally got the breakdown with the rest of the stocks at 240. And then we opened way up here. We closed way at the low of the day. Again, daily bull flag is looking like it's gonna break down. We bounced all the way from 700 all the way to 886. So that is a 186 point move. I would not want to see more than a 90 point drop on consolidation. Remember what we went over on the bull flags yesterday? Healthy consolidation for me is less than 50% of the move. So this is, oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, so bull flag, not a bull flag. Why? Because this move, you give back more than 50%. That's not healthy consolidation. That shows me it's kind of a failed bull flag. So right now on Tesla, tomorrow is critical. If we don't recover some of this, if we move down further from today's low tomorrow, I would negate the bear flag. My stop, if I was long, would probably be 814, which is Friday's low or Monday's low, 814. If it loses 814, then we'd probably go and revisit these lows of last Thursday's invasion. Other than that, I mean, it's a chop fest, man. Like, there's no real direction. If we lose 814, I think puts will work all the way back down to these invasion lows. Other than that, what else we got? Amazon, Tesla, we got XLE, we got LMT. Let's do LMT. So LMT has been the ticker to watch recently. It told you war was going to happen before war even happened. By the way, this was on the newsletter trade of the week a couple of, I think 2 months ago, maybe. I hope you guys grab some for your dividend account. It pays a nice dividend. 370 was a breakout level odds where I grabbed some stock. It's been paying 3% dividend, and it's just fantastic to have right now. Look at the volume coming in. Look at the green candles. It's just bull flagging up here. It made a huge move, and now it's just going sideways. Is it going to keep going sideways and then up more? Is it going to fail the bill flag and come down? It all depends on what's going on in Russia, because LMT is not going to lose profits or revenues, or stockholders are not going to sell as long as this war is going on. It's a good indicator. I think you should have LMT on your screen every single day. It'll literally tell you war news is coming before it comes. Like, you'll see a big spike on LMT, and then 10 seconds, 20 seconds later, you'll see some news about some war, something about the war. So right now, it's impossible for me to tell you where LMT goes. I think it's a great company. Obviously not like I don't like war or anything, but it's a great company, makes a lot of revenues, and it's very much in favor with the US government. There's almost basically a World War III starting in the world. And if you're taking puts on this one, I would scalp. I would not hold them, just for the reason any night they drop a bomb, anything happens, LMT goes up. So right now on LMT, it's very tough to say where it goes. Obviously, the RSI is very overdone. If you go back in history right here, every time the RSI gets way up here, sometimes it just kind of goes sideways before making another leg up. Sometimes it pulls back hard, like 3 days like this. So it's very mixed. If I was trading LMT, I'd probably day trade it. I do have some in my dividend account. I will not sell that. I mean, 370 is a great entry. I don't think it goes anywhere near 370 as long as this war is going on. And I know Vlad's been killing it. I know the options move very, very quick. LMT past few days, multi-X winners after morning dump. Let's see. So yeah, morning dump, and then if you took calls, these are flying. So if you know how the options move, I mean, I'd have to study them myself, but it looks like a big dump right off the open, and then a V-shaped recovery. Right here it was just straight up. Right here it was a little dump and V-shape. So I'd have to take a look at it tomorrow. I haven't traded it options myself, but looks like you're onto a pattern here. So if tomorrow you get a big dump in the morning, you can ride calls up V-shape tomorrow. And if you do that, call it out in the group. Don't just secretly take your trades, Vlad. Have some confidence. All right, guys. I hope you guys had a great day. Tomorrow we're probably going to kill it as well. It's Friday, my favorite day. And